new edition of the Pasco Chamber Minute. My name is Colin Hastings, and I'm the Executive Director of the Pasco Chamber of Commerce. We're coming to you today from the Franklin County Historical Museum here on 4th Avenue in downtown Pasco, and I'm joined here today by the Administrator, Shelly Batman. And so figured we'd ask a few questions and talk about what we can see here in this great building. But first, I want to know a little about you. You've been here just for a little while, so tell us where you've come from and what you plan to do here as the administrator.
Right. I came on board here at the museum in January, and they had an interim administrator for the past year. And so it's been a fun trip getting here. I moved to the Tri-Cities about a year ago, a little over a year ago from Boise. And my husband's job brought us here, and I thought, you know, it's about time I get back into the workforce. So started putting the feelers out there. I've worked a lot with nonprofits. Had never worked with a museum, but worked a lot with nonprofits in the past. And so had this opportunity, and it's been a really, really fun position to step into.
Well, and having such a neat gem down here is really interesting, but there's a lot to learn about the museum and the Historical Society too. So they're kind of two different but mutually inclusive items. So with the Historical Society, what's the makeup of that, and how does that exist, and how does it tie in with the museum?
The Historical Society is made up of a group of board members. There's about, I believe, 16 active board members, and then 3 trustee emeritus that sit on the board. They're very active, and the impressive part about being involved with this organization is the passion. There's so many people that are passionate about keeping history alive and continuing to preserve what we experience so that it's there for future generations. And that passion has just been so encompassing and so exciting to be involved with.
Well, that's good, and you're right. I can relate to the passion that is here in Pasco and of the history too. One of those important parts of history is actually this building that we're in as well too. So tell us a little bit about the Carnegie Library and how it came about and how one is here in Pasco.
Right. So this was originally built in 1911 as a Carnegie Library. Andrew Carnegie was a very wealthy man, and he wanted to share his wealth by giving back to the communities. And how he did that is he funded a lot of library construction. There were about 60-some libraries built in the state of Washington, of which 40-some are still in existence. A couple are even still being used as libraries. Yeah, so his legacy lives on. But he was very involved in providing these because he thought it was a gift of knowledge. And a lot of times he would provide these in rural areas that didn't have access to that kind of information or that kind of community, library situation. So he was a very good man to share that, and it keeps going on.
It's a gift that keeps on giving, I guess, from that standpoint.
Exactly.
And so that is it really is a neat structure in itself. So within the museum, plenty of exhibits to come and see. And with the people that are coming through here, which ones are the most popular? Do people really kind of gravitate to?
They really enjoy several of them. We have some really nice exhibits on archaeological finds in the area, which are really super interesting. Native American, we have quite a bit of Native American beadwork on display. We have a pretty extensive display of railroad, which has been very, very important in the area's history. One exhibit that always draws some attention is the airmail exhibit. Those are fun stories that we have over there and fun pictures of the pilots that were involved with that.
And especially with the connection too with history, yet still kind of being on the big screen too, if I'm not mistaken. We have, there was a movie made about the first U.S. airmail flight out of Pasco, or as a portion of the movie, and then there's a very famous cinematographer that was from Pasco too.
Correct.
And his name again is Wong. James Howell Wong. Yeah.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
and there's a great display on him as well too. So a lot of information here that people really don't know about. So it's really neat. And one of those neat items that just surfaced recently too. We're filming this just before the solar eclipse, but you came across something that was pretty interesting here in the museum. Tell us a story about that.
Well, we have a picture here. We have a very wonderful collection from Ralph Smith. He was a photographer here. He did a lot of photography during World War II, which we have some beautiful, beautiful pictures of his. So we have his full collection. Not only did he take pictures, but he collected pictures. And one of the pictures that we had on display was Coyote Bill. And he was an astronomer in the early 1900s, and he is set up in Pasco for one of the eclipses. So we had a guest come through and he said, "Hey, did you remember you had that picture over there?" And I thought, oh my gosh, that is so pertinent to what we're experiencing right now. So it was fun to bring that picture back to life.
Well, that's great. And with that, it's amazing how interactive it is too when you have, a guest that comes through. But over the last couple of years, you've probably seen quite an increase in tours. And what can that be attributed to?
Yeah, we have, we're part of the stops for the hop-on, hop-off tours for the cruise boat that comes through. And so we get every other Wednesday and every other Saturday, we get quite a bit of guests through from all over the world, and it's been incredibly interesting. And we get to share a piece of our history with those people and let them know kind of the story behind our area. So it's fun to be able to share with those people.
Well, that's good. And then with that too, with these tours coming through, there's probably a need for volunteers. Are there volunteer opportunities here with the Historical Society?
There are, yeah, and we have some docents, and they come in and they help with the tours, and we're always looking for volunteers. Regardless of what people feel comfortable doing, we need volunteers to input information, we need volunteers to give tours, so there's a gamut of opportunities, and we're always looking for people who want to share their talents.
Yeah. And with that too, you have events as well too. Mm-hmm. Being a nonprofit, there are always a need for funds to keep operational. And you have a big event coming up too. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Right. Currently, we don't charge admission to the museum. We're free of charge, only admission by donation. So we operate 100% off of donations. So one of our fundraising opportunities is coming up in October 14th, and it's our Dinner Under the Dome, where we have a sit-down dinner and a program and so forth in the courthouse underneath the dome. It's quite a special event. So
yeah,
that will be coming up.
Another historical building here, just right across the street almost too. So if you haven't had a chance, when you come down here to check out the exhibits in the museum, you might as well just walk over to the courthouse if you haven't been there and just look at the great art that is in there. So I'm going to put you on the spot.
Okay.
Do you have a favorite exhibit?
I really enjoy the airmail one just because those guys were renegades. And I also enjoy the Naval Air Station exhibit that we have. That was also quite a time in history between that and the Army Supply Depot that were both located here in Franklin County. We were very, very instrumental in World War II. So those are fun. Those are fun times to look back on. That's
neat. Well, come down here and please experience all these great tidbits of knowledge and history. And I want to thank you, Shelly, for letting us come in here and take a tour. And also, your hours again are?
Tuesday through Friday, 12 to 4, and then we're open every other Saturday. So we're not open this Saturday, but we'll be open then the following Saturday.
And you have a website too where people can go to get more information, and that is?
It is museum at Franklin County historicalsociety.org.
Great. Yep. Well, thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of this beautiful day that we have here. And I have a couple of events I'd like to key in on for the Pasco Chamber. We're hosting our annual Sunshine Luncheon again, and it's our annual meeting where we have a chance to honor those board members that are coming off and welcome the new board members that are coming on, celebrate our accomplishments, and that's going to be September 18th at the Red Lion in Pasco. Please RSVP for that. It's a plated lunch, but it's a really neat event where our keynote speaker is going to be Chris Eiler. He is the executive director of the U.S. Chamber of Commerce West region. So he's going to tell us a lot what's going on in Washington, D.C. right now. So it's one that you probably want to be a part of and maybe get the inside track on that. And if your business is interested in sponsoring a table, please give us a call here at the Pasco Chamber of Commerce at 547-9755. With that, that concludes this Pasco Chamber Minute. And as always, keep your eye on Pasco.